Greetings. This is Skylar Saunders seeing what's current. It's serious. Two. We got him. We got two. There's supposed to be a third defendant in the case for the murder of Jam Master Jay, aka Jason Mizell. We have two defendants that were found guilty. They were convicted of the crimes of Jordan, his Jam Master Jay's godson, and Washington, his long-term friend. Allegedly, it's not even allegedly, but it's seen now that Washington was at the door while Jordan pulled the trigger and killed Jam Master Jay. So that's what is the news that came up. I was just doing my show yesterday. I didn't want to do two shows. I was like, I'm good. I'm done. I was going to get back on the mic, but it's the next day. And I just wanted to tell you, I've seen some of the best, reporting, some of the best, witnesses. One of his witnesses was his cousin. I can't remember his full name. I'm looking for all the news clips that I just had up. But none of them are showing his name. It's like Carlos or something like that. And he was very calm. His demeanor was very reserved and restrained. And he was basically saying that it was justice served. And that's what I want to get into. I want to get into a few things. I want to get into one thing that really kind of digs at me a little bit, because it's like, they say like, oh well, this is one of the many high profile unsolved cases like Biggie and Tupac, like that's all they're saying. Like, it's Jam Master Jay. Can the man have his, I know he's not alive anymore, but can the family, distance themselves from those cases and have it so that they understand that his life meant something? Of course, Tupac and Biggie's life meant their lives meant something, but let it stand as him alone, as an individual. Let this be an individual case. It has nothing to do with Tupac and Biggie. Sadly, Jam Master Jay, Jason Mizell, was involved in drug trafficking, even though, ironically, they had, Run-DMC was very, pro, or actually they were against drugs. They weren't really pro reason or pro life. That's what they should have been. Nancy Reagan's statement, just say no, should have been just say yes to life. And privatize and monetize and legalize all drugs. That's the problem. That's why there's guns involved. That's why people get smoked. That's why people get laid out and killed, because there are drug laws, draconian drug laws, that are against the free enterprise of people who want a product and those who want to sell that product. That's as simple as that. That's how simple as it comes down to. If you hear some noise in here, by the way, that's because they're working on the kitchen upstairs. But anyway, back to this. They're pushing that narrative of how, drugs are bad, don't do drugs. And what, 90%, 95%, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's more than half, a greater deal. I've been around drugs. I've never used them. I've always had friends, that were smart enough to be selfish and keep it to themselves. And we're, I say that jokingly. I'm serious about selfishness. Selfishness is a virtue. But what I'm saying is, they kept it to themselves. I never asked, hey, can I try? And they never said, hey, man, why don't you get a hit of this? I never had that experience. I never had that. And it's only marijuana. I've never been around coke or heroin or any other drugs. Meth. Never had that experience. But sadly, excuse me, Jason Mizell got caught up in the drug world, and it admired his life. Obviously, it actually took him out by people that he knew. That's the case. That's what happens. That's like, the classic. Even if I have to bring up his name again, Tupac. In the movie Juice, he's hugging the mother of the child he killed. And did I give the spoiler? Did I spoil it for anybody? Has anyone not seen Juice? Excuse me. Sorry for spoiling the plot. But yeah. So it's serious. It's very serious. It's gets to the point where it's like so many people are not aware of the ramifications and the realities that are inherent in what is called the drug game. And it doesn't matter who you are. Jam Master Jay was established. He was a legend. He was he was a king. He was a king. He was a hero. He was definitely a hero to many people. And he represented, goodness and being great and having generosity and being kind, even though that's not necessarily a virtue. It could be a virtue in certain circumstances, but he was just a generous soul, and I don't mean that mystically. But he was, a person that knew what he was doing. He had on the flair. He had the, I rock like similar like clothes to what they were wearing. They had the fedoras. I have a trilby. They had the black t-shirts. I have a black collared shirt. They had the gold chains. I have a gold tie. So this is before these revelations, and even though they weren't around for a longer time than I was, even before I was born. I was representing my school. I'm representing Newark High School in Delaware. These are our colors, black and gold. But it just struck me. I was like, oh, that's kind of like what I'm wearing. I'm watching the documentary on Peacock of Run-DMC. I finally got to finish it, and it gave a disclaimer. It said as of 2023, no defendants have been convicted of the crime of murdering Jam Master Jay, and now they got to update it. They got at least two. There's the third one. There's a third person. It's Jordan Washington and another person. So I have to give major props, major due respect to his cousin, who was very, poised and very, on point and very respectful and understanding of the situation. He didn't lash out. He didn't yell out. He didn't scream and go like that. He was very, composed. And I appreciate that, because that's what anybody expects from on the news outlet. You have outbursts and people going out of their mind. But yeah, so that's just the weird thing they do. They do that on the media. The media says like, not since Tupac and Biggie, and well, this is reminiscent of the murders of Tupac and Biggie, and Biggie's and Tupac's murders are currently unsolved. I mean, I get it. I understand they're trying to make a correlation. They're trying to make a metaphor. It's like this Jam Master Jay's death is the Biggie and Tupac of a new generation of the 21st century. He died October 30th, 2002. So his was different than the 20th century, obviously, of the murders of Tupac and Biggie. Tupac Amaru Shakur and Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. So if you have any like doubts in your mind as to whether there are people who actually care about hip hop, I think it's more in the favor of people who actually do care, because they had the packages ready for I'm watching it on YouTube, all the news sites. I'm reading the articles, and they're pretty in depth. They're pretty flashy. They show the Run-DMC in their heyday. They show them going on stage and everything like that. Show Jam Master Jay spinning the records. That's profound to me. I think that's a turnaround from what it used to be. I mean, you have to remember there was a time period when before MTV stopped playing videos. Ironically, they had videos on the television on the television screen, and so they had very few black artists. And the irony of all of this is that all the music was black. I don't care if it was Quiet Riot. I don't care if it was Black Flag. I don't care if it was even Aerosmith. I don't care. It's all black music. Rock and roll is rock. Rock is rap. Rock is blues. Rock is jazz. All of that is black people's music, and FBA as well. Mostly FBA, Foundational Black Americans. That's their music. Even country music, playing a banjo. So I mean, there's clips of you can find on the web of David Bowie saying it's very interesting that there's not very many black artists on MTV, and like the guy interviewing, I didn't even catch all of this before, but I was like, damn, this nigga's a racist, like just like off the top. But he was like, I'm in a weird position, as an MTV employee, because I want to have the Ron Osley brothers, I want to have the black artists on MTV, but who else is gonna be entertained by black artists? They want to see themselves. They want to see white people on the screen. So that's just an aside, and that's what the power of Jam Master Jay, Run-DMC, as a whole, as a collective, as three individuals. We're backed by Rev Run's brother, of course, the impresario, the director of all things, sitting in his yoga pants and everything like that. Russell Simmons, and also Rick Rubin, and they're sitting in the same position. Like they had that kindred spirit, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it's just weird. This is a weird, strange position to be in. It's very funny. It's like, I don't know. It just kind of gets at you because you're trying to figure out exactly what is the difference between then and now. I'm watching Reverend Run. He's got his Bentley. He's rolling down the street, and I'm guessing. I don't know. They didn't make mention. They didn't point out the fact of Daryl McDaniels, aka DMC, his house, which is fly. It was a fly pad. It looked draped out. It was and dripped out. But they didn't necessarily say it was his house. It could have been somebody else's studio or something like that. I don't know, but I'm guessing he's got a few dollars. They still have, I think, get royalties from Adidas. I'm sure they still get residuals from their album sales. And Rev Run is he when they also showed TV shows that were related to at least music. MTV had Run's house, so I'm sure he still eats off of that. But yeah, Jam Master Jay, sadly, he either didn't save his money, or he spent all his money, and it just hit him. Literally, he got hit with the shots because it was over a drug deal. It was a drug deal going bad. Oh, allegedly from his not alleged. I am so used to saying it. They are convicted. They are murderers until it's overturned, until they appeal, until there's a clearing of their names. They are murderers. There is no alleged. I have to tell myself that. So his godson and his long-term, lifetime friend murdered him, were guilty on all charges. Guilty on all charges, every single one. And I think maybe there were two, or both charges. I think there was murder. I think it was murder and conspiracy to sell drugs and a weapons charge. And they were like different between the two of them, Washington and Jordan. But I think that's that it just goes to show you how the differences are with people that it's not. People have said that, Biggie, B.I.G. Again, look at me. I'm part of the media, I guess. I'm making a reference. It's not the ones, that your enemies. It's the ones that that want to put the what is it? What do you say? Ice pick through your windpipe slow or something like that. Those are the ones that want to get you. The ones the ones you are familiar with, the ones that you convene with, the ones you smoke the blunt with and roll dice with, and back alleyways, and you're all cool and buddy. You're going out to the club, you're going out and partying with them, and turn around, they got the mask and gloves, and they're not playing around. They got the gun, and to your head and bow, gone, out of here. So, I mean, I think he had enough money, but he wanted more. He wanted to be a part of the scene. He wanted to be part of the drug, distribution scene. Jam Master Jay. Sadly, it's a very sad route. No, you see very few people make it out. Jay-Z may be one of the only people involved in drug sales to become a billionaire and not be killed or in jail. I can't think of any. There's many that have been killed in jail. There's Pablo Escobar. He became a billionaire. Boom, he got killed. U.S. forces went in, took him out. You got El Chapo. El Chapo escaped from jail, what, twice? 2-3 times, something? He's back in jail. He was a billionaire. But even though Jay-Z may not have been a kingpin like them, he may not have been, the ultimate Don, he still sold, a respectable amount of drugs. And he's a billionaire now because he said, you can't knock the hustle. I'm doing, my thing on this music thing. And all blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even. And that's the sad part of Jam Master Jay's life. He couldn't equate the idea of saying, I'm a skilled musician. I'm a skilled music maker. All right. These turntables, they're an instrument. They're an official instrument now because of the techniques and the skills you have to know to move the crowd, to get them involved, the scratching, the spinning, all of that has to constitute who you are and what you do. All of that has to go into effect. And that's what Jam Master Jay represented. He represented that whole thing. He definitely made it so that he could recognize in his own life that he had 3 boys. Now they're grown. They're all in their late 20s. But he just couldn't get away from that lifestyle. He couldn't get away from it. Some people are sucked into it. Some people are on the other end of it, addicts like DMC. He was a drug addict. He was an alcoholic. He came out on the right side. And Rev Run obviously became a reverend. He became, addicted, he's mystified, but I respect it anyway. I respect the mystified people. But he wanted to make the best of his life in that route, in that way. I have to respect him on that level. And it's just sad. It's just a sad shame. It's really sad. And the closest thing I can think of is I'm glad there's no death penalty. Because it's like life in prison. Because that's their penalty. 20 years to life. 20 years to life. And 20 years may not be long enough. They may have to, stick on that life conviction. No parole. No anything like that. No, no way of ever getting out of prison again. You take somebody's life. Somebody, could be anybody's life. Could have been a scoundrel's life. Could have been a low life's life. But it happened to be Jam Master Jay. It happened to be Jason Mizell. A stand-up guy. A real, thorough human being. He had, Simple Minds. Not Simple Minds. Talking Heads. He was talking about Talking Heads. And, he was talking about, the music influences he has in his life. The rock music and stuff like that. DMC had his comic collection that was in his mind. Rick James, salute to you, sir. I need that like. I'm up to 480 people. I need 20 more people to get the 500 certification. You gotta talk to at least 21 more people. What am I at? 480? 20 more people. Yeah. He says, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the man that looks through the looking glass and sees. I present Skylar Saunders sees salute. He's so close. If you had just put an E where the Skylar is, you would have been perfect. You would have been perfect. But you weren't, so keep trying. But seriously, Jam Master Jay. I mean, what a life! What a life! He was going all over the world, touring, probably smashing the baddest broads until he got married. I'm not gonna say he was smashing broads after that. Not gonna get into that. Sammy says she subbed. I appreciate Sammy. Thank you, Rick James, and thank you, Sammy. Thank you for the subs. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so it's hectic. It's really hectic. Thanks for the like, by the way. I like the 2 people I see and 2 people I like. And excuse the sound. I know it's been crazy, hearing that. But they're working on the kitchen upstairs, so yes, it's just one to grow with, But yeah, so those are my main gripes. My main gripe was, the Biggie and Tupac thing. They always have to mention that. Oh well, hip hop is, had its own unsolved murders in the past. They're working on the green room. Well, there's no green room. There's only that blue room. There's only that blue room. And everything else is the Cowboys room or white or well, I guess it is kind of you. Did you go into my house? Because it is kind of like a greenish color. It is, but in the kitchen it's like reddish yellow. It's like a yellowish. But anyway, I'm just glad that justice has been served. I really do think that they are the ones that killed him, because it's not your enemies. It's the ones that you call son, the one you noogie in the head, the one you play chess and you play Uno with, and I don't know. Those are the kind of people that come and get you. Those are the kind of people that shoot you and kill you. It's not your worst enemies. Your worst enemies are just like, well, glad he's dead. I ain't got nothing to do with it. But your friends, the people that you grew up with, the people that you call your closest relatives, those are the ones that do you in. Those are the ones that put a hit out on your head. Those are the ones you have to watch for. So sadly, Jam Master Jay didn't get that message. And sadly, he got caught up in the drug game. Like I said, nobody wants to be in the drug game. Nobody grows up. Nobody's a little kid. Yeah, I want to be a drug dealer. No, it's a despair thing. It's out of despair that you become a drug dealer. And I know it's fly and fancy, and you can get all the fly sneakers, and you got the flyest rides, and you got the flyest, girl, and all that is cool. All that's great. And even the girls, Griselda Blanco, look at her. She became a billionaire. She was a woman billionaire. Shot and killed. I'm telling you, I want to know if there's any reformed billionaire drug dealers. I can only name one, Jay-Z. I can't name anybody else who has been who was a drug dealer and then became a billionaire in the process of whatever they changed into. I can't think of any besides Jay-Z. But anyway, Jam Master Jay, it just seems like it didn't. It seems like yesterday. That's Coolio, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre. No. Maybe Dr. Dre, but I don't think he's a billionaire. He's like 900 million. Redman, I don't think he's not a billionaire. Coolio is dead and he's not a billionaire. He wasn't a billionaire. Nope. And I want to know people that aren't rappers who are billionaires and are reformed drug dealers. I know there's a slew of millionaires. There's plenty of millionaires that pump D in the streets and carry that weight. But now you're just playing, you're trolling. But there's not too many to speak of. But there's a lot to speak of in millionaires because there's untold amount of millionaires. Jeff Bezos, I know. Yeah, now you're trolling. You're super trolling. But there's not a lot of people who are let me see you hit that like button. The person that just came in, let me see you hit that like button. But there's a slew of millionaires. Too many millionaires that you can't name them because there's millions of millionaires and there's only a few thousand billionaires in the world. It's the facts. But I digress. I wanted to make sure I stayed on Jam Master Jay. I'm still talking about, the facts of Jam Master Jay's, predicament, his sad demise. It's the fact that, it was such a glowing, great, kind of a mark on Run-DMC. They had a glowing, spectacular run. Even when they fell short in the 90s, they fell out of favor in a way. And, they kind of didn't come back in the 2000s. They didn't have anything else. There was nothing really left in the gas as far as Run-DMC was made. And, of course, this was the early 2000s. This was 2002. So after Jam Master Jay died, DMC declared that there was no Run-DMC in Jam Master Jay, of course, because he had just been murdered. So he had to at least voice that. And fast forward, what was it? 21 years afterwards, they're at the New York Yankees Stadium performing for the 50th birthday celebration of hip hop, which is weird because it's like it's the closest thing I think any music genre definitely has to an official origin, which was a block party in 1973 in what was it, August? It was August 1973. Can't remember the exact date, but I think it was August 7th. But August 1973, and they had people show up to a party. It was a birthday party, and it was like DJ Kool Herc. He was the one that was spinning them records, on the wheels of steel. And that's when it all started. So, but did it though? Didn't it start in the 30s or 40s with bebop? Didn't the swagger and the zoot suits and different things like that? Didn't that constitute hip hop, being outlandish and flamboyant and showing a specific style of dress and according to the music being improvisational and in your face and something like that. So it's questionable about hip hop. It could be bebop in the 30s and 40s, could be in the 70s. We'll see. But I've taken it to the 80s. The 80s when it's more mature. It's a little more mature. It's not completely mature. It's a little grown up. It's a little bit more grown up, but it still hasn't found its legs. But with Run-DMC and Jam Master Jay, they had a video of them knocking the doors down. That happened. That actually happened. And then they had the My Adidas and King of Rock and all these different songs and different anthems that were played around the world. They're going to bed in Sweden, waking up in Denmark, going to bed in London, waking up in Osaka, Japan. That's the beauty of what hip hop was able to do. And it's just very sad that Jam Master Jay just got caught up on the wrong side of the drug game. And the fact that, the people closest to him, and this is what happened in the courtroom. There was almost a brawl in the courtroom over the jury's conviction of the two individuals, Jordan and Washington. That really set off, alarm bells, because I think it was Washington who was saying, like, you're putting two innocent people, away or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but he was just saying he still maintains his innocence, which is scary, because it's like he's saying he's innocent, but I think he's guilty. I'd say he's guilty. And as long as there's no, electric chair or table for having people being lethally injected. Can't really say. As long as New York isn't a capital punishment state, I don't think anymore. So, rock and power to Jam Master Jay. I think justice has been served. I think it's proper to say that cliche, you know, and we'll look forward to seeing what other developments may come in the future. Okay, I gotta talk about these white boys. Like I told you before, I know about white boys. I grew up around them niggas. And I call them niggers because that's what they are. They're white niggers. Because I didn't grow up around, hoity-toity. Yo, what's good, Kareem TV? Anyways. I think you're responsible also for my subscriber list going up. Went from 477 to 480. So I appreciate you. I appreciate Rick James. Sammy says she subbed. So I appreciate that. So anyway, these white boys on what is through BLK, which is I guess supposed to be black, not block or blick or I don't know, bulk. I don't know what it's just assumed that it's black. But BLK on Plenty of Fish. I'm talking to this white girl and he's got these white boys in there and they're just like they have that air about them that I actually admire. They just say, I'm a white man. I control this. This is mine. This is my destiny. You're just an inferior. You're nothing to me. I'm better than you. I kind of admire that. I like that aggressiveness. I like that ambitiousness. I like that narcissism. Even though narcissism isn't necessarily a good thing, I have to give that as a disclaimer. I would take narcissism in place of humility. I would do no humility. There's no humble action, no modesty. I would take narcissism instead of an egotistical nature ahead of humility and modesty and the meek, the mild, and the low. I would take that over any day. But anyway, so I'm talking to her, and then they're like saying, how big is your D? I'm like, well, hey, honey, how come you want to know? A toot toot, hey, a beep beep. That's from Mr. Troy Star Terrain's, his book. I definitely have to, that's why I give him so much support every month. Is the fact that I steal so much of his stuff, and I try to repay him back, or just repay him, and so they're on there. He just he's really interested. Like he really wants to know, do I got a big D? But you know what this is? This is all subtext. All this subtext is that racial idealism goes back to the centuries ago when they want to know about the black penis. They want to know about the Negro genitalia, the genitals of the Negro, the male, especially the male species. And that's all. That was the subtext. They want to know how big or how small or what indifferent, whatever the case may be. And that's why I know, that's why I grew up around white boys my whole life. They have that chip on their shoulder. I like that. That's good for me. I mean, it's better than that modesty bullshit. I'd rather take that over everything. So it's just a weird kind of situation to be in. So I didn't disclose, of course. I know me, and then I said, during sexual activity with a female, I said I never had complaints, and then he said, "Oh, they don't want to hurt your feelings." It's like you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You can't say something and then have them say, "Okay, I understand. I get it. Okay, cool." It's not going to be that. It's going to be some kind of retort. It's going to be some kind of response. It's going to be some kind of way of saying something. And then one other thing is, "Oh, where do you work?" I was like, "I'm a content creator. a social engineer, and a writer. And like, oh, so you don't have a job? No, I don't have a job. I have an adventure. That's what I kept saying over and over. And right now, I have 0 people watching. So this is for the rebroadcast, definitely. I just told him outright. I told him up front. I didn't mince words. I didn't, babble. I didn't stumble and mumble and fumble this time. I was very clear with my words and my diction. So that's how that went. But I just love that whole, white boy dynamic. That white boy dynamic that, I'll burn this, barn down. I'll, cut off this chicken's head and, eat the skin alive, or not alive, but, drain the blood and then eat the chicken skin, not even cook it. Just eat it raw. And that's a white boy mentality. They'll go the extra length. They'll go further and further. And like I said, I don't have a problem with white boys. Most of my white boys were friends. I've had friends with white boys. They just do crazy stuff. We break up. I was breaking up carts with huge stones and cinder blocks and stuff, lighting stuff on fire, stealing from cars, the tires. Little caps. I've said this before, but the little caps that you have to remove to put air in the tire, those are chrome caps on some cars and trucks. We just stole the chrome caps and just kept it moving. I never got caught by the people. I got caught by my parent, my mom. She was the one that found out because my dumb ass kept the damn things on my bike. So it was kind of good because that was 25, 26 years ago, almost 26 years ago, and I would still probably be doing time if I didn't get caught with those little caps, the caps that go on the tire valve, I guess it's proper to say it. I'd probably still be doing time. Because that's the slippery slope. That's what you start off as. You start off, doing small little things. Then you elevate, and then you're getting, accosted by the cops and putting in a paddy wagon. Then you're being sent before a judge, and they're saying 25 years or 30 years for armed robbery or assault with a deadly weapon or something crazy. But like I said, that's the white boys I grew up with. We're just ended doing something wrong. We were always getting caught up in something. And even when we were doing something that's illegal, we were just doing wild stuff. We were doing tricks on trampolines. We were doing what we saw on WWF and WCW last night. We were like, yeah, I got to try that tomorrow. Put them in the arm, the figure 4 arm leg lock. I got to put them in the choke hold. I got to body slam them. I got to do the stone cold stunner. I got to do the rock bottom, all those moves and stuff. All those, added up to a personal history of who I am and what I am right now. But these white boys in this chat, it was all in the chat. It was all in a virtual room, and they're just asking me all these questions. And I was like, I know this white boys. I ain't gonna get heated or mad or something. I'm not even gonna get mad at them because they only see black people as thugs. They don't see them as intellectual, thoughtful idealists. They see him as O-Dog from Minister Society and Eazy-E and so many other fictional and non-fiction figures. That's a pause, Rick James. He says, "Got to do the sword fighting." I don't fight with my sword. I keep my sword in the scabbard. But yeah. So white boys are cool with me. I have no problem with white boys, but I know them. I know their style. I know their whole approach. And I know their underlying meaning behind what they say. He's like, "How big's your D? Oh, you're not saying. Oh, you must got something small. You must be talking about how you're." I was like, "That's my greatness." And then he's like, "Oh, you're talking about the greatness of the Roman sculptures, their small penises or something like that. I'm like, I know you. I know you. You're a white boy. I know you. Yes, that's part of Mr. Troy Star Terrain's uh, speech. He used to say, "White boys sure know how to have sure know how to party." That's what he used to say all the time. White boys sure know how to party. They do. They'll be jumping off of balconies and doing keg stands and all kind of just crazy shit, just off the wall shit. So we have to be aware of that. We have to be on guard for that, and just accept it. Don't try to fight it. Just realize that white boys are gonna be white boys, and they're gonna have a good time no matter what. They're gonna be looking for the black woman. I know two white boys that were definitely into black women, and that's all right with me because I'm into white women. You can have as many black women as you want. I'm gonna take the snow bunnies. I'm gonna take the snow. I'm gonna take the pink toe. Have a good time with her. That's my whole modus operandi. That's my kick. To have that special kind of understanding, to be seen as a brute, a savage, and someone that is of lesser breeding, of inferiority, lesser human. You're human, but you're lesser. You're 3/5 of a human. You're not really a human being. You're 3/5. You're not quite at the white status, or I'm sure they say that for every other race too. But excuse me, especially blacks. Rick James is going on tear. He's saying black women too sassy for me. Los Latinas, I think he meant Las Latinas. They will beat you up, then sing me amor. They want you to feel like a lesser human being, not being. He said, being, BEAN. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had too many issues with Latina chicks. We've had good times. Latina chick I'm thinking about. My second person of interest that I like was a Puerto Rican girl. This is in first grade, I think. But before that was a white girl. See, this is the difference. My two sisters were like horror, like not whores, but horrors, terrors. They were like terrorists. You know what I mean? They're beating me up and calling me names and not being very supportive. But then I saw this golden light. This blonde hair, blue eyed little girl named Jennifer. I don't know her last name, but I'll just say her first name was Jennifer. And those aren't your lyrics, Rick James. You're gonna say, oh yeah, my lyrics. No, those aren't your lyrics. That's Queen's lyrics. But she was a goddess. She was a young, free spirit, just perfect. I'll never forget her. She'll always be in my memory. I can't remember her last name. I don't know how even to look her up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. What are the other different ones? Because I don't know her last name, so I couldn't even try to figure out. But she was just a light in my life, and I was like, "Damn, white girls are the truth." I was like, "That's the first thing I said in my mind." I was like, "Damn, these white girls ain't beating me up." She's like, "Hey, come on over here and play with this tree." And I just go over there and play with a tree. It's like it wasn't anything. It wasn't any problem. It was pretty engaging. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful time. So I think that if we can definitely take on the role of a person who is virtuous and has the time to be someone that is of good standing. And there are white boys that are of good standing. I'm not saying that all white boys. I'm not just doing a blanket statement. I'm saying the individuals that I recall, the individuals I know, the ones that reminded me of them were in that chat room last night. And I'm going to try to go into that same chat room and see if I can get the same people. because that was an interesting, little bit of time. I enjoyed that. It was very good. So that's what I think is very crucial to what it means to be a human being and someone that is fond of white women as a black man. Um, that's the best part about doing it, because I don't have a problem with white men dating white women, black women. I don't have a problem at all. Take them. Fine, sure. No, I don't have a problem with dating black women either. Black women are great. And individual women. This is the thing. It's like individual case. I had an issue, with a white woman. We were in an act. We were in a special kind of fellatio act, and she's like, and I put my hand on her head, and she's like, "Girls don't like that." And I wanted to scream. Well, I want you to, deep throat. And I wanted to scream, you can't say all girls, say I don't like that. It's like, but we kept it pushing. It wasn't that serious afterwards. But them white boys, they something else. No pause. It's a hetero pause. It's a hetero pause, something like that. And resume, yeah, resume. But I had a good time with that chat. Yeah, I go from chat to chat. It costs money. It costs $71 every 6 months, so it's not free. Not like Facebook. Facebook is nasty. I've only found nasty, yellow women on that website. Some of them were pleasant at the beginning, at the front. They kind of like where our white women are at the front, up front, out the box, more pleasant. But later on, cold-hearted bitches. I have to say the word. I've been trying not to say the word, but that's what it is. It's a little harder than broads, but I had to say it. So they're at the back end, they're cold. They're cold-blooded. She was a good lover. She was a good lover. We had good times together. But that one particular act, and this is the irony, or maybe not irony, but this is just weird. This is strange. What Troy Star Terrain says, blowjobs or giving head or stuff like that, those are for whores. That's a whore's job. Blowing the bagpipes and B flat, playing the skin flute, that's a whore's job. So I got 4 likes and 3 people in here. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it. Greg S. Well, how is such an expert on whoring? Yeah. Well, I'm not an expert on whoring. Maybe Troy Star Terrain, maybe he might not like that word, but he definitely knows more about the game than I do. And I get game and wisdom from him. I get game and wisdom from the late, great, Sinful the Pimp. If it weren't for Troy Star Terrain, though, I would not have the wherewithal. I would not be able. I'd probably be in a puddle of tears, crying. They're going at me. Oh my God, I can't think. Once you realize the beauty of objective hate and in human nature, it is just exquisite. It's beautiful. It's wonderful how you can experience life, through the lens of objectivism and objective hate. He didn't even have a big channel. Never heard of Civil People. Well, you'll hear from him from me. He had a big he had a sizable channel. He had about, I don't know. Let me check. Since you want to know about his channel, he had 70,000. Wait, hold on. This is crazy. Where's this? Oh, they're not showing it, but they used to have Simple P his amount of subscribers. They don't have that anymore. I don't know. That's weird. That's really weird. Okay. All right. So I can't tell you how many subscribers he had, but he had tens of thousands of subscribers. I think something like that. Greg S says he didn't even have a big channel. Maybe I didn't listen to his good videos. It always sounds like he was just rambling on nonsense. Do I sound like I'm rambling on nonsense? I always ramble on the mic. I'm just speaking what my brain is saying. What the next words that tumble outside of my head. It may be perceived as nonsense. But it's you sound more coherent and useful info than Sinful to P. I disagree. Sinful to Pimp, it's not even Sinful to P. Sinful to Pimp had diction, he had clarity, he had a great purposefulness about how he spoke. He wasn't mumbling and fumbling like I do sometimes. So I definitely respected his grind and his hustle. He's skinny, light-skinned, bald dude, right? Yes. Just look Sinful. Just look up Sinful the Pimp or Sinful the Pimp, something like that. And then Greg S goes, But Greg S, you know about them white boys, right? You know about how white boys get down. They're good. They're good money to me. I know they have that. They have a chip on their shoulder. They have this. They have a weird sense of saying, like, I'm better than you. You're beneath me. You'll never get better than me. I have this white skin. Even if you got bleach, it wouldn't help. That dude sounds like a weirdo. Yes, I was raised around whites. LOL. I went to a private school. I went to public school. Well, I don't like to say public school. Government school all my life. Even when I went to college, community college for a semester or whatever it was, mostly white people, some black people, some Latinos, some very few Southeast Asians and Eastern Asians, but there were a few there too as well. But the white boys, yeah, they get down. They get down for theirs. And I wasn't mad. They were sitting there barking. They were going back and forth. They were going saying all this stuff. Still wanted to know my size. I was like, you know what? I know how to deal with them. I know how to deal. They didn't think you were Spanish. No, they didn't think I was Dominican. I know that's where that's going. I know where that's going. He's gonna say I'm Dominican. Greg is gonna say I'm Dominican. I actually had a blank screen and just had a picture of me from like a very small picture with a green shirt and a black and green and gold baseball cap. But yeah, so I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful kind of expression to see that to know about what Mr. Turing said. He says, the white man and I we have an understanding. I lay down with his white women. I lay down with his women. We have an understanding. And that's how it goes. He said he used to say that all the time. Shovio. That was like 14 years ago. 14, 15 years ago. Shovio. He used to say, white boys sure know how to party. Because they would put up clips, right? They'll put up clips of a white boys fighting or a white boy just getting smacked. There's one where the guy just was like this. And he just goes, he smacks the dude. And the dude just drops. He just drops clean, cold, out, nothing. And then the dude just walks over him and just keeps it moving. Like, I'm not making this up. This is reality. This is real talk. He just slapped him. And the dude just slumped. One shot killing him. Only one rock La Familia. But yeah, so that was pretty extraordinary. To witness that, and that's just part of his journey. I don't think anybody now remembers that, or very few people remember that. But I'm not gonna go like, hey, Man, Star, man. Remember when you was on Shovio? And, like, what? Like, it's about moving forward. He said it in a previous show, either yesterday or the day before. Always forward, never backwards. And then not it's a Nas line, but it's the facts. It's always forward. Just keep pushing forward no matter what you're doing. Just keep going forward. Never say, oh, I fumbled the ball that time. Just like in sports. That's one of the best things about sports. There's nowhere to hide. I mean, you could hide, but it's like you're gonna draw attention and you're gonna ruin the game. You're gonna do something awful to the game itself, or something's gonna go wrong. If you just imagine, okay, somebody's at the 3-point line, puts up the shot. Oh, rim hit or hit the backboard or air ball. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go sit on the bench now. No, you got to get back on defense. Exactly, Kobe. That's what I'm talking about. I was wondering if I'm saying this by myself, but Kobe said the same thing. There's nowhere to hide. Kobe said, because Kobe, early on in his career, he had like at least two air balls in one game towards the end, and I think that the Lakers lost. And he was just like, you know what? Let me get in this gym. Let me shoot at least 500 shots a day. Let me shoot from mid court. Let me shoot from the foul line. Let me shoot from the paint. Let me shoot from the elbow. Let me shoot from the side. All of that. Exactly, Greg S. Greg S says Kobe. Exactly. But he said that. I think he was the one that said that I got that from. Because there's nowhere to hide. Even in football, hockey, tennis, golf, you can't just be like, oh, well, missed that shot. I'm not playing anymore. Like, you got to play. You got to continue. I mean, you can stop if you want to, but that'll hurt your reputation. That hurts your whole yourself. That hurts your own ego, saying that you can't get up and move on from something that's bad. Greg S says that's what Sky Saunders you'll be for spinning on the block with his AK with a switch. What? I don't even know what you're talking about, my friend. That's what Sky Saunders, I think you meant heel, before spinning on the block with his AK with yells on the block. Oh, before with his AK with a switch. Now I got you. Okay. Yeah, well, I can't do any weaponry. I'm bipolar, so I can't do any legal weaponry. I can get a ghost gun. That just sounds crazy. I can get a ghost gun with the serial number shaved off and all that. Be great. Go to jail for 15 to 30 years. Wonderful. On a weapons charge. Be great. But and I wouldn't use an AK. I would never use an AK. I would use an AR-15 if I could. I can't, but I would use an AK. I would use an AR-15 with the scope, and if you can put a switch on an AK on an AR-15, I'll put a switch on an AR-15. AR is lighter, I think. Yeah, it's the civilian equivalent to an M16. LM gas is the key word. Lightweight, magazine-fed, gas-operated, air-cooled, shoulder-fire weapon. That's LM gas. I think it's the same thing for AR-15. I think they are lighter. AK-47s are easier to shoot. You can train a 3-year-old to shoot an AK-47, and they're better with different climates. They're better in the cold. They're better in water. If you're bringing them out the water, they're better in sandy conditions. Obviously, the Middle East, they use them that much. That's why. They have relatively good accuracy and with being in certain conditions. But that's just my light understanding of weaponry and firearms. So I'm opening up the floodgates for questions. There's 3 people that I can see. Not to saying that there's any less or more, but that I can see. And there's 4 likes. So I need more people to come in. So ask your questions while the seconds tick down or tick up, I guess. I don't know. Do you approve of women getting BBL? Yes, I do. If it enhances the aesthetic, I don't know if it's aesthetic, but the cosmetics of a woman's body. or even a male. I guess if a male wants to do it, I'm not attracted to a male getting a BBL. But if a female wants to get BBL, then I'm all for it. If it makes it look better. If she's trying to this oh, got 4 people. Okay. If she's trying to disform her body and mutilate it in some way, I'm not about that. Are you familiar with Sky Bree? What is Sky Bree? I'm not familiar with Sky Bree. No, not familiar with Sky Bree, Rick James. Inform us, enlighten us, let us know, what does Sky Bree mean? The character, okay, the character from what? Now you're playing little games now. The character from that story. Google search Sky Bree. Did you know there's another Skyer? You put Sky. Yes, there are multiple Skylar Saunders on YouTube, but there's only one Sky Saunders. That's my YouTube channel handle, Sky Saunders, SkySaunders. Because I didn't know what I wanted to call myself in the public. I didn't. It was back in 2006. My favorite director of all time, Wes Anderson. I was trying to be like him. He was like, well, he didn't. Well, I was like, he didn't name himself Wesley Anderson. He just said Wes Anderson. So I was like, I'm not Skylar Saunders. I'm Sky Saunders. So that's the reason why that. But for right now, it's Skylar Saunders. But you missed the L right there. Are you familiar with? You asked that already, Rick James. I'll look it up right now. I'll look it up. It's probably something goofy, weird, creepy. Oh, okay. I'm not mad at Sky Bree. 25 years old. Okay. I'm not mad at her. She got a nice body. Okay. That's what's up. I'm not. For once, you say that you get it. You have a good idea. For once, Rick James, I'm not mad. Are you familiar with I Feel Fantastic? Oh God, this could ruin you. You were doing good. You were doing good. Yep, you messed up. I knew you were gonna mess up. I Feel Fantastic. What is this? Is this because obey? This is like Obey the Walrus. This is very much like that. Terror the Android. Real creepy. You lost your credibility. You were doing fine with the Sky Bree. Sky Bree was the truth. But now I have to shut you down for that much. Shut you down for that. I gotta shut you down. So we got time. If whoever's in here, I don't know if it's Greg S and Rick James or something like that. Well, good video, sir. Well, you watch it. I'm not gonna watch it. So I mean, there's enough time left to talk about little things like that. The Jam Master Jay thing just really irks me. That just Rev runs gliding in his Bentley, not a care in the world. I'm sure DMC's got a collection of comic books that are worth millions of dollars. I'm just that's alleged. I'm just supposing that he's really into comic books, but yeah, it's just a strange world we live in. Strange world. Comic books are just paper, but some paper is valued. That's the difference. It's whatever the value you get from whatever content is put on that paper, or if it's just paper, like if it's 3,000-year-old paper or something like that, that could be a value as well. It may not have any writing or anything on it. Just the fact that it's paper and it's been discovered. So who's still here? Put a 1 up if you're in here. I know Rick James is in here. Greg S, are you in here? Kareem TV. Fool's Gold. What about Fool's Gold? Oh, are you talking about the paper? That's not Fool's Gold. It depends on the value and the amount of It depends on how much value is put into it. Comic books are not fool's gold. I can't front. I don't really like the superheroes and all the movies and stuff like that, but I respect them. I respect the fact that you get a lot of money from those, and they allow you to put in other projects, and you're allowed to make production companies and stuff like that. I'm not mad at people that do Marvel and DC and stuff like that. I started out, one of my favorite characters of all time is Spawn. I love that comic book, Spawn. That's one of the first comic books I ever read. The first series I ever watched. Yeah, we got shop people in here. That's right. Well, at least one person in here. I know you're in here, Rick James. I don't know if Crane TV or Greg S is in here. I don't know if either one of them are in here. But it's open for questions. Whoever wants to ask a question. I'm getting money. I got money today. Got my deposit. Not bad. I'm not mad at my deposit. But what I try to do for YouTube and vocal is the fact that they vary. It depends on how much work I put in to get to those places. He said, okay, Rick James says, I burned all my second child's comic books. Why? Why'd you do that? Why would you do that? They're probably worth thousands of dollars now. So Rick James, I think is the last question. I'd like to thank everybody that came through. Cream TV, Greg S, and of course Rick James. I appreciate all of you. And I will see you tomorrow at the latest. Now Greg S says, yo. Everybody, it comes on with everybody. I know this is a phenomenon. Once you start to say you're about to leave, everybody will say, hey, yo, wait, what's up? I'm here. What's up? What's up? And all that. But I'm out of here. I'll see you later. Take care.